see what we have the course content for the Java with Selenium with us. Okay, so as we know that in order to start any automation tool, okay, we need some of the basic programming languages. Okay, it can be any programming languages like Java, C Sharp, Python, or a JavaScript. Okay, so with these programming languages, we are trying to automate the application using automation tools. Okay, so here we are learning one of the programming languages, Core Java, and other one is the Selenium tool. Okay, so we are trying to automate our Selenium tool with Java programming language. Okay, so in order to start the Selenium tool, we have to start the Core Java. Okay, so in Core Java, when it comes to Core Java, it consists of a basic programming languages that is required for a beginner level, okay, programmer. Okay, so as a part of that, we have some of the course content here. Okay, in front of you, what I was seeing here. So we'll be starting with in Core Java, the fundamentals of Java programming. Okay, so in fundamentals of Java programming, we will be dealing with all the basic introduction about Java, what is Java, how it evolved, and what are the different versions of Java. Those things will be done. And later on, we will be dealing with what is the naming conventions and how can we understand our programmings, okay, in order to write a program, and what are the things required to write a program, okay, how we can write a program, and what is the architecture of the programs, okay, our structure of the program, okay, that we are going to discuss entirely in fundamentals with different types of keywords and tokens. Okay, so that is nothing but our identifiers, keywords, literals, variables, and operators. Okay, these provide some of the basic introductions to our programming, how our method names and program names and identifiers should look. Okay, so once we have completed with the fundamentals, then next we are going to jump into the control structures. So basically control structures are nothing but our decision control structure statements and repetition control statement structures. So these are nothing but our decision statement structures like if else, okay, for sorry, switch case loops. Okay, these are the control structures, and do while for. Okay, these are the repetition control structures. So decision control structures nothing but you are going to make a decision like if a equal to b, then print this statement. Okay, else print something else. Okay, and repetition control statements. So if you want to loop a, if you want to print a statement, okay, again and again, so you can go for the looping statements. That is, we have do while and for loops. Okay, so using looping statements, you can repeat the statements running. Okay, so once we have seen our these control structures, okay, later on, okay, most of the things we have learned it here itself. Okay, whatever required for the to kickstart your basic program. Okay, later on we will be somewhat moving to step 3. Okay, that is with our scanners. So scanners are used to, how do you take a dynamic input from the user from the console, okay, on the runtime. So later on, we'll be dealing with the Java arrays. Okay, in arrays, we can discuss about what is an array, how to declare an array. Okay, what type of arrays we have. Okay, so what are the different ways to declare an array? How arrays can be used in Java. Okay, and how we can loop our arrays, and how we can use our arrays in the programmings. Okay, those things will be discussed. And we have special thing for arrays that is called as for each loop. Okay, so this for each loop can be worked for arrays and collections. Okay, so with a set of elements. Okay, and once we have done with that, okay, we'll be having some small assignment sessions and workaround sessions. Okay, we'll be dealing with that also. For each and every, after each and every sessions, you can see you can see our programming or interview questions. Okay, so these are nothing but your assignments. Okay, our practical sessions. So entirely whatever the theoretical we are going to put it on, practical things. Okay, completely on practical. Okay, so later on we'll be jumping to a main concept, that is object oriented programming. Okay, so as we know that object oriented programming is one of the core concept of Java. Okay, where we can deal with in object oriented programming. We will discuss in the first about introduction to object oriented programming, what is it and how it came up. Okay, what is the need of object oriented programming in Java. Okay, and what are the different types of object oriented concepts that we have. So like abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, those things. So once we discuss about those things completely, we will be discussing about the classes and objects. Okay, and we'll be discussing about the different ways to create an object. And next thing we are moving towards the constructors, how we can get declare declare a constructor. Okay, what are the different types of a constructor? Okay, what are the rules for the constructor creation, constructor overloading? Okay, later on we'll discuss about method overloading, method overriding. Okay, after that we'll be having a big practical sessions. Okay, so later on we'll be discussing about exception handling also. So exception handling is one of the important concepts as we face some of the issues or some of the exceptions occur, what we have to do. Okay, this thing will specify to us. Okay, so using exception handling, you can handle your exceptions and errors using try and catch block that supports in exception handling. Okay, so once we have discussed about completely in exception handling, later on we'll be discussing about collection framework. That is one of the most important topic after the hoops object-oriented programming concepts in Java. Okay, so the collection framework and arrays, they are somewhat similar type. Okay, but I can't compare the arrays with collection because collection has a huge methods and it is like a huge framework. I can call it as. Okay, and in collection frameworks we have generics and how we'll be introducing about the collection. Okay, collection and collections there, and we'll be discussing about in detail what is collection framework. Okay, how we need to use it and what are the different types in collection frameworks. Okay, so we have around at least three different types of like a list, set and map interfaces. So in that we have subtypes also. Okay, like a vector, array, list, stack. Okay, many things are there. Okay, so in when it comes to map, we will be having hash table, hash map, tree map. Okay, sorted tree map, many thing. Okay, many thing are there in the collection framework. Okay, so we will be discussing about each and everything in detail. Okay, like how do you add elements in the collection, how do you remove elements? Okay, how do you perform your data manipulations in collections? Okay, how do you maintain your data structures in collections? Okay, entire thing will be discussed. Okay, so this gives you a quick ramp up around the Java concepts. Okay, these I hope this is what this is enough for the to start the Selenium tool. Okay, so once we have completed this, okay, we'll be having some of the overview around at the end of the sessions, okay, of the Java. So once we have completed that, then we'll be jumping to the Selenium training. So in Selenium training, we'll be choosing as an Selenium as an automation tool. So we'll be giving an introduction to the automation. Okay, what is automation? Why we required automation? Okay, how do you implement our automation in our organizations? Okay, we'll be dealing with that. Later on, we'll be giving to the introduction to Selenium. Okay, in Selenium, we will be discussing about what is Selenium. Okay, what are the features it provides? Okay, what are the advantages, disadvantages? Okay, and later on we'll be dealing with the architectures and protocols about that, and what are the different types of languages and platforms supported by the Selenium. Okay, basically Selenium supports some multi-platform and multiple languages, around 13 plus languages it's supported. Okay, so later on once we have done to introduction, later on we'll be jumping to the basic browser handling. So here you will see how do you handle a simple basic browsers. Okay, as a beginning starter level. Okay, You can open your website. Okay, so open your browser and enter your URL and perform some any action on that. Okay, that is a basic simple to start an automation. Okay, so once we have done that with that, okay, we will try to navigate around the browser using what we have learned in the previous okay topic. So once we have navigated around the browser, next thing will be jumping to the locators. So these locators also plays a major role in the okay automation, because it it specifies which element to be automated. Okay, it specifies as an address of a specified element on the web page. Okay, suppose think that for an example, if I want to automate, if I am trying to automate a Gmail application. Okay, so here I need to click on this application. So I need to specify my Selenium's driver, okay, web driver, so that I need to click on this element. How do you specify that? Using locators. Okay, we have something called inspect element. Okay, can you see here? When you right click on the specified element, you can see inspect. So when you specify the inspect, so our respective address will be popped out. Okay, so when you right click on this respective address, okay, it gives you something called XPath, CSS selector, those things. Okay, this is XPath and CSS selector, nothing but your locators. Okay, so we have in locators, we have many types apart from the around 8 types we have in the locators. So first thing is we have tag name, ID, okay, a name, class name, link text, partial link text, CSS selector, XPath. Okay, these are the different ways we have in the locators. Okay, especially we'll be focusing on XPaths. Okay, because in XPaths we have customized XPaths, that is absolute and relative XPaths, where we can write our own XPaths. Okay, so in order to have a better locators. Okay, so later on we'll be dealing with the synchronization. So what is this synchronization? Though synchronization is nothing but it's a whiting. Okay, whiting methods. Okay, suppose if I have a method, okay, if I have a web element on the web page, okay, so that element is loading, it's taking 10 seconds to load. Okay, but what about my Selenium driver? Okay, it starts performing once it loaded completely, or once as soon as the elements are visible, okay, it start performing the actions. Okay, so it won't last for that much of time. Okay, so when I specify some wait time or some conditions, okay, for an object, okay, so to wait till the specified condition or this specified time. Okay, so that based on those condition, I can wait till that object is visible, okay, or that object is active, or that object is available for the action to be performed. Okay, so this solves a delay in okay locating the elements or loading in the late locators. Okay, once we have done with these things, okay, once we have discussed about synchronization, all these things will come under synchronization itself, like implicit write and explicit write, custom write, fluent writes. Those things will be come under the okay synchronization. So next we are going to deal with different ways to perform an actions on element. Okay, so that is nothing but your mouse and keyboard actions. Okay, mouse and keyboard actions, like how do you right click on a specified element? Okay, how do you send a text using your keyboard? Okay, so how do you press your control button? Okay, control key on your keyboard, shift key, okay, enter key, space bar. Okay, so this type of whatever the keys do you have it in your on your keyboard, or right click or double click. Okay, those things you can perform using actions class. Okay, so later on we'll be dealing with the drop down menu things. Here drop down menus are nothing but your select options, select class things. So how do you handle your drop downs means using select class. Okay, So using select class, we'll be having like select by value, select by index, and select by visible text. So we'll be handling with that also. And later on, we'll be coming up the drag and drop of actions. Okay, so if there is something element, okay, so you have to drag and drop it to the respective ones. Okay, so using that, you can using the drag and drop. Okay, this again, this falls under the actions class, drag and drop. Okay, so once we have done with this, okay, later on we'll be dealing with the pop-ups also. Okay, so in pop-ups we have alert and confirmation pop-ups. Okay, alerts. Have you seen the alerts? Yeah, alerts and confirmation pop-ups, those things will be there. And page object model, okay, later on we'll be dealing with our page object models. Okay, that is POM, we can call it as, a page object model framework, we can call it as. So here we'll be around somewhat starting with our frameworks. Okay, we'll be starting our frameworks. So these frameworks will start from here. So page object model. So here we'll be giving an introduction about page object model, and how do you create a page object model, and what are the different annotations there, and how do you declare, initialize, and utilize your handling the elements in the page object model. Okay, or what is page factory. Okay, what is init elements in there. Okay, those things we'll be learning there. And we'll be learning about what are the advantages and disadvantages of the page object model. Once we have done with this, okay, we'll be learning about test-ng also. Okay, test-ng annotations. So in test-ng, as we know that test-ng is one of the popular unit testing. Okay, a model or a framework in the when you choose Java. Okay, and here test-ng provides a lot of things to us, like it provides different annotations in order to have a parallel execution. Okay, or skipping the test. Okay, and order way of execution, and reporting also it will help us, and asserting the such an elements. Okay, it will help us. Okay, basically it has a test-ng suite where it can combine all the tests to one single under fall under one thing, and we can run there. Okay, so these things we'll be seeing in test-ng. Okay, so once we have done this, okay, we will be dealing with hybrid driven frameworks. Okay, so in a hybrid driven framework, we'll be learning about data driven frameworks. Okay, where we get the data from our Excel files, CSV files. Okay, etc, etc. Okay, we'll be getting there, and combining with any other page object model or test-ng, or and perhaps we can use keyword driven testing also for that, keyword driven framework also for that. So we can combine any of the two framework, and we can develop our framework level projects. Okay, currently we'll be once we have started this frameworks, okay, we'll be dealing with mainly two projects. Okay, so completely we'll be focusing on two projects about these things. Okay, and once we have completed our automation projects, okay, so meanwhile our entire automation project will be created on Maven. Okay, that we call as Maven projects. Okay, so entirely it will be created on Maven, and later on it will be integrated to the GitHub as a source code management. Okay, so this is what about we can say about the course we had it.